But man, I'm actually a little pessimistic about Ninja Gaiden 4. I would have been normally just really excited, but the trailer didn't look amazing, and the fact that they released Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, and they based it on Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma. That is... Oh, they could have released the definitive version of Ninja Gaiden 2 by just giving it the upgrade in visuals and then put in the same enemy setup as the original Ninja Gaiden 2, and they didn't do that. They went with Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma, and it's awful because the entire combat system is premised around fighting lots and lots of enemies that are each really easy to kill, but each one can really easily kill you. I saw streamers playing it, and I can tell, because I played this game for at least 500 hours in my life, I can easily tell this is exactly Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma. No different, really, in terms of the core gameplay and in terms of the enemies, but they made it so that the enemies are even weaker. Just like seeing people get comboed on and they lose maybe like a quarter of their health bar at most. Not even, really. It's like there's no challenge there. And I mean, sure, that works for a lot of people, but for me, for a Ninja Gaiden game, and I heard that even at the hardest difficulty, it doesn't predict. Well, so again, the way Ninja Gaiden 2's combat's designed, if you make it harder and the enemies do lots of damage, but you're still facing a handful of enemies that have a lot of HP instead of a lot of enemies that have a little, it changes the nature of the combat, and it's just different, and it's not as fun. I really hope somebody eventually makes a mod for Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, or Tecmo just releases an update that changes it, because the main reason they changed Ninja Gaiden 2 to Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma is that Ninja Gaiden 2 was on Xbox 360, Sigma was on PS3, which from their technology point of view was not as capable of handling the multiple enemies. Xbox 360 wasn't capable of handling the enemies in the original either. So that's why they changed it to fewer enemies but stronger. But modern tech, right now, they could easily have Xbox 360 original Ninja Gaiden 2 level of enemies all on screen at once and look great and no frame drops. Like, sure, you'd need a pretty powerful computer, but these days, if you have a modern gaming PC, even on like a 2090 or a 2080 or whatever, it's gonna be pretty good. Hell, even a 1070. It's so frustrating seeing Tecmo Koei just shoot themselves in the foot like that. Or, I mean, shoot the fans in the face, I guess, not so much shoot themselves in the foot, because I'm guessing it sold pretty well. And that's what really makes me skeptical of Ninja Gaiden 4, that whoever made the decision on Ninja Gaiden 2 Black clearly does not understand Ninja Gaiden very well, and if they're the same people behind Ninja Gaiden 4, this might not end up very well. Especially since Ninja Gaiden 3 was just a disaster. So bad. Such a bad game just flipped the combat system so much in different ways that just made everything worse. It's kind of like the DMC, or I have to say it, DMC of the Ninja Gaiden series, even though Ninja Gaiden 3 is a proper numbered Ninja Gaiden, whereas DMC is a side game that everyone wants to pretend didn't exist. And what's funny is that DMC is actually a decent combat game. If they had just made it not a Devil May Cry game and just had its own story, its own world, but the exact same combat, I would have given it at least a good, solid 7 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10. It's a fun, decently well-crafted combat system with pretty decent enemies. The boss fights are its major weakness. There's only like 5 of them or something, and most of them are bad. And the story's awful. But, you know, presumably, maybe if they, like, I could tolerate that a little bit better if it wasn't a Devil May Cry game. But like having Virgil and Dante like quip at each other about how big their dicks are compared to each other, that is not the writing that Devil May Cry should have. Yeah.